This is George Dionne for KNAC.com, and I'm here with vocalist Herbie Langhans of the bands Radiant and Firewind. If I knew absolutely nothing about Radiant, how would you describe the band's music to me?
It's melodic, old school hard rock, a little bit hard and heavy AOR, bit stoner rock. It's more like traditional melodic hard rock.
I'd agree with that assessment. And your latest album, Written by Life, is coming out April 22nd on Massacre Records. This is a concept album?
Yeah, it's kind of a concept album. I had the idea because I always thinking about what can I write. And I don't want to write all the time about my stories, my feelings, my dreams, and all that stuff. So I decided to make a kind of a concept album. I asked everybody in the band to give me 2 or 3 stories of his whole musical career, how he starts to play music, of all the highs and lows and tragic things and happy and funny things. And then I put it all together and write lyrics. And yeah, that came out as a very personal album.
Absolutely. Why don't we talk about the singles that came out, and maybe you can give a little behind the scenes of how the story relates to the song. So let's start with the first song on the album, Night Shift.
There combined all the stories a bit together. It's like how, for example, our bass player bought his first guitar. He was really looking so long for it and worked for it just to have this first final real bass guitar, and then sitting all night long and playing with it, finally to have it in the end. And finally, the bass guitar just became his voice, something like that. And it's in the end, it's about everybody sitting at home, having ideas, rocking the whole night, maybe on your own desk in your home studio. But that's kind of about Night Shift. And it's a very ear-catchy melodic rock song. So that's why we decided to make this as an official video clip.
Excellent. How about the song Contagion?
Yeah, Contagion is a bit about our drummer when he starts doing music. And he was really infected by the music, and he wants to play drum, and everybody and his parents say, "Oh, what? You want to play drums? You want to make a living of it, or what?" It's a bit. He was already around 18 or 20 years old when he starts drumming, so everybody's a bit of laughing. But he said, "I don't give a shit. I just want to play. I'm into it now. I love the music. I want to feel it. I want to play by myself." So,
which one of the songs was the most personal for you, Herbie?
I mean, in the end, it's for me, it's not about my story, but the most personal is, of course, Because of You. Because that's the song of our rhythm guitar player, Flo. He's my best friend for more than 20 years. And that's the story about him when he starts doing music in school. And his dream was always to be a guitar player. And his mom really supported it and said, "Oh yeah, come on, it would be so cool, but we have no money yet." And then finally she gets some money, and they went to a record store. And she always had this dream that he would become a little long-haired little rock star, And then they went to this music store, and finally he had his first guitar. He was around 15 years old. And directly on the other day, his mom and his daughter was shot by the ex-boyfriend of his sister. So both are dead then. And then he decided, okay, I will go on with the plan. I will be a little rock star.
Wow. That's a crazy story. Well, I'm glad that he's found some sort of, I guess, comfort in the music and going forward.
Yeah. That really helped him a lot, especially in that time. Now he can live with that. He can talk about it. It's around 30 years ago, but of course there was that point that changed everything.
Written by Life, you guys were actually able to all get together and kind of put this album together versus being apart and everybody submitting their little computer pieces to make a track, right?
Yeah, so that's really one of my smallest bands, but that's my band where I put most of my heart into it, because that's really my oldest friends. We don't live in the same city, But of course, we meet in a rehearsal room, we're jamming together, everybody's coming with some ideas, some riffs, and we put it together and say, oh, it's really old school jamming and doing the rough versions in the studio, recorded it just to have some demos. And after that, I produce everything in the studio and the fine tuning and everything.
It sounds like to me that Radiant has known each other for years, but you've only been a band for a short amount of time.
Yeah, we started very slowly. So it was in the end, it was normally before was Seventh Avenue, my old metal band. And after years, we decided, oh, let's do something different because nobody was really into metal at that time. So we decided to do a new band. And it took a long time. We had no stress, no pressure. So it took a long time. But now we finally have the final lineup in the band. Now we know how to work, and now there will be more albums coming, maybe every 2-3 years.
Is Radiant gonna just be a recording band, or are they gonna tour?
It's of course a live band. We also have some festivals this year in Germany and some single shows. But to be honest, I don't think that will be a touring band. Maybe a small tour here and there, because I'm the only one who makes music for a living, you know. And the other one, they all have their jobs, and then they want to do some holidays. And so for example, like a tour we're doing now with Firewind is not possible with that band. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks somewhere, a little support tour, but we're more into single shows or weekend shows.
And you're currently on tour with Firewind in the U.S., correct? How's the tour going so far? Is this your first one back since lockdowns?
Yeah, it is. We only had a small tour, kind of warming up tour in Spain before this tour for 5 days in a row, playing some headlining shows and clubs. And then we finally get on the road. And it's amazing so far. I mean, the whole package is great. All the bandmates and everybody and all the crews. And for us, finally very good to build the brand again, because Firewind's last North America tour was around 9 years ago. And now we have kind of a new audience, especially because of Dragon Force. They have all these gamer communities and younger people. And a lot came to us and we never heard about you, but it's so fucking amazing.
That's always good to hear.
For us, it's really cool to build up a new fan base here. And we have already plans for next year's for US. So I think that's the best tour at the right time.
Had you personally ever toured the US with any other band?
Not real touring. That's single cities. I mean, I'm in Avantasia as well, maybe, as you know.
Yep.
And we're doing more world touring. So we're going in 45 shows in around 30 countries all over the world. So if we come to America, we only play around 3 or 4 cities. And normally we play Europe, and then we go to Russia, and then to Japan, Australia, and then North America, Canada, and then South America. So there's not a real tour inside the US. It's only 3 or 4 single cities.
No, that's understandable because, there's really not any huge markets here for the European rock bands. I mean, there's some on the East Coast and some on the West Coast, but, otherwise it's dominated by pop and hip hop and rap over here.
Yeah, but I'm completely blown away every night when we play with these kind of melodic power metal package with Dragon Force. I mean, they're huge audience and the venues are packed and sold out. So it's really cool. They're really hungry for some traditional and speed melodic metal and stuff like that, power metal.
Are you working on a new album with Firewind?
No, we only shared some ideas, but to be honest, Gus wants to get on the road again, to get in the mood again, to write stuff, not only sitting at home like the last 2 years and only writing stuff while you're sitting. So he needed this influence, to go on the road first, and then we will start writing new songs. But I'm pretty sure we will do some new songs this year and maybe a new album next year. Yeah.
I heard a fantastic heavy metal album last year. It was from a band called Steel Rhino. You probably heard about them.
Yeah. That's one of my side projects. Yeah. That's not a live band. That's only the guys ask me. I mean, for me, it was good during the pandemic to have studio jobs and stuff like that. So I was completely fine in that time because I also became a father 1.5 years ago. So that's why I could spend all the time at home doing vocal coaching and doing studio jobs and stuff like that. And that was one of the bands. First, they asked me for 5 songs, if I can record a 5-song EP. And then they really liked it, and they asked for another 5-song to do a whole album. So, but that's for me more a side project, a studio job.
It seems like you're turning into the European Tim Ripper Owens.
Yeah, today it's hard to survive with just 1 or 2 bands, so you have to do stuff on the side.
Absolutely. Are you working on anything with Avantasia?
I mean, there's a new album coming out this year.
Yep.
And we have some festivals in Europe because first we had a plan a month ago to do this year a world tour again. But of course, it was after a few weeks, the idea was skipped because it's not possible to book or to plan for a whole world tour. Maybe just America, yeah, it's cool. But yeah, so that's why we only do festivals this year in Europe. Around 12 festivals in Germany, Italy, Spain, Scandinavia, Finland, and Sweden. So just like these kind of bigger festivals, and of course at Wacken.
Are you working on, do you have time to work on other projects? And if you do, are you working on any?
Yeah, I am still working on project. I mean, when I'm back home, I have to do some other recordings for a Swedish band, also called Lightbringer of Sweden, some power metal. We will do a video when I'll be at home and work on new songs. But of course, this year, because the summer is already packed for me with a lot of festivals, because I have 4 or 5 bands at the same time, just to try to schedule everything right, with every band. So my summer is kind of packed, and I only do some little things in between. So I only go out for the festivals, and in the week I will stay at home with my family, doing kind of nothing, enjoying the summer.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you today, Herbie. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with KNAC.com, and the new album, Written by Life by Radiant, is out April 22nd. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.